In this video, I'll show you a few more steps that you'll need to complete in the office plan. First, let's start off by adding some room names and numbers. The first step is to duplicate the view. So we're going to right-click on Level 1 Tenant Space, and we're going to click Duplicate View and Duplicate with Detailing. After we duplicate the plan, we'll right-click and hit Rename. And we're going to call this Presentation Plan with Room Names. So let's take a moment to look at the plan provided, and we'll talk about how room names and numbers are placed throughout a plan. So this space is on the 11th floor, so every room number is going to start with 11. Now the first room that you would enter as you come off of the main corridor would be the first room, so that would be 01. And then you move, usually you either move clockwise or counterclockwise throughout the space when adding your room numbers. So then the office becomes 102, and then you see how it's kind of moving around this way. Now, in the plan that you created, these two rooms, or the open office and the lobby area, are all connected because in the plan you have now, there's not a separator. So we need to add that separator before we add the room numbers. So let's move back into our Revit plan and we'll add that separator right here. So you'll go to Architecture and Room Separator. And we're just going to use the line tool right here to separate these two rooms. And so I would probably come on the center of this wall here and then connect it to the closet wall. And then we're done. We've added that room separation. Now let's go back up to Architecture and we'll start adding the room names and numbers. So we're going to go to Architecture, click on Room, and then we will place the room name and number as the X appears and you can see the room boundary in that light blue color. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to hit Escape to end that because I need to do some editing on the name and the number. So the name, you can just double click within there, and we're going to change that to all caps, and we're going to say Lobby. And then we're going to double click in here and we're going to change that room number. So I zoomed in and I checked the middle box and I'm going to change that to 11 for floor 11 in the first room, which is 01. And then I'll hit Escape to end my command. Now I can go back to the Architecture tab and continue throughout the plan adding the other room names. Now we want to make sure when we're placing the room names and numbers that we're not overlapping furniture items like this or walls or windows. So I always try to place it so that we can clearly see the room name and number. So then I would click on that, type in office, and notice how since I changed this to 1101, it automatically changes that to 1102. So when I go back up to Architecture and Room, the conference room, place that close to the door. See how it's automatically at 1103. So rather than escaping each time I add a room name and number, it might just be best to just go ahead and add all of them. And then you can see that the numbers are appearing, and then all you'll have to do is go and change the room name. And then since we added that separation, we will be able to give this open office area its own room name and number. So that's how you add the room names and numbers throughout the floor plan. So your next step would be to just come in and edit these names. And then you're done. Another requirement for this project is to create a color fill plan, and this is actually really easy to do in Revit. It allows you to select the different offices and apply a color to those offices, and then designate different colors for different areas. This is really helpful, especially in a large project when you're trying to show your client, like, here are the offices, and they can recognize where the office is by the color you have designated for the offices or the open office area. This used to be done in Photoshop, but Revit made it a lot easier by giving you this option to quickly add this room legend. Okay, so in order to create the color fill plan, we're going to again duplicate the views. So we're going to right click on presentation plan with room numbers or room names, hit duplicate view, and then duplicate with detailing. What that means with detailing is that it's going to include all of your annotations. So I'm going to click on that. And then to add the color fill, we're going to go up to annotate. And then we're going to click on Color Fill Legend. Now first you need to click within the screen to place where you're going to put the legend. And there's several different ways that you can do this, but we're going to do, instead of by spaces, we're going to do it by rooms. And so that will connect the color fill to the room names. So I'm going to click on rooms. And then color scheme, we're going to go by name. So that would mean that every room with the same name will have the same color. So for example, all the offices will have the same color. And then hit OK. And you can see that it quickly calculated and did exactly what you told it to do. We have the room legend, the conference room is one color, all the offices are another color, and that's how easy it is to add a color fill legend to your plan. Now, if you don't quite like the colors, if you want to make sure the color scheme matches the scheme you're presenting to your client, you can change the colors. So if you click on this, you can go to Edit Scheme. And you'll see that all the room names are listed here with the color that's associated, that was chosen automatically by Revit for the room name. So you could click on the RGB color right here, and you could change the conference room to a purple if you wanted to. Then you would just hit apply and OK. Obviously, that's a lot darker than the rest of the colors. So that's one thing that I would mention is you want to make sure that everything is in the same value or tone. So I would then go up to, again, Edit Scheme, and then I would click on that, and then I would change to a lighter value of purple. And then hit OK and apply and OK. And there you can see that blends a little bit better than the really dark purple. So that's how you edit the scheme and the color. If for some reason you wanted one of the rooms not to have a color, you could go to Edit Scheme, and then you could just uncheck Visible there and hit Apply and OK. And you can see that that was taken out of the room legend, but it really wouldn't make much sense in this application, but I wanted to show you how to do that. So I'll bring that back. You can also add pattern to the, if you didn't want to do a color fill, you could add pattern to the different rooms. So you would double click on the room legend, hit Edit Scheme. I would change the color if you were going to do a pattern to something dark, like maybe a dark gray or maybe a dark blue. And then hit OK. And then you can change the pattern right here. So where it says Fill Pattern, I'm going to go down and just choose Diagonal Down and hit Apply and OK. And there you can see I have a diagonal checked pattern, or a diagonal pattern in the conference room. So it wouldn't make much sense to just have one room that's a pattern. So for this project, I'm just having you complete an entire plan with just the color fill. And I just want you to edit one of the colors that was, placed automatically by Revit. So just like I did for the conference room, I just want you to go through that editing process.